Parks feel like they have always belonged to everyone. The gates are open, the paths are free, no one asks permission, but for most of history, green space meant control, not comfort. What we enter freely today was once denied to almost everyone. Like and share this video if parks are part of your daily life, and in the comments tell me, did you know public parks were once closed to most people? In many cities, there is a small moment that people share without thinking. You finish work, your body feels heavy, your head feels full, you turn a corner, then the noise changes. Cars sound far away, voices become softer, trees appear, the air feels cooler. For a few minutes, you breathe differently, you slow down without trying. This place does not ask you to buy anything. It does not ask who you are. It simply lets you be. We call this place a park. Today, it feels normal. It feels like it was always there, but it was not. It came from long human stories. It came from power, fear, hope, and care. It came from people who needed space to breathe, just like we do now. This is not just a story about public parks. This is a story about us. Long before cities looked like they do today, people still searched for green space. In the ancient world, land meant survival. It meant food. It meant control. In places like ancient Mesopotamia and Egypt, gardens existed behind walls. They were not public. They belonged to kings. A garden showed power. It showed that a ruler could control water, plants, and time. Trees were planted in straight lines. Water flowed in calm paths. And shade was planned. These gardens felt peaceful, but only a few people could enter. For others, green space was wild land. Forests felt dangerous. Animals lived there. Spirits lived there, people believed. Safety stayed inside the city walls. In ancient Persia, something changed. Rulers created large gardens called paradisa. This word means a wall around beauty. It later became the word paradise. These gardens were places of balance. Water, trees, and open paths worked together. The king walked there. Guests walked there. It was not fully public, but it showed a new idea. Nature could calm the mind. Nature could reflect order. This idea travelled. It reached Greece. In ancient Greece, people built cities with open spaces. They called them agoras. An agora was a public space. People talked there. They argued. They shared news. It was often open to the sky. Trees sometimes stood nearby. While not parks like today, these spaces mattered. They were for people, not just rulers. Philosophers walked and spoke there. Walking helped thinking. Movement helped ideas grow. I think this is one of the most beautiful things about human nature. We think better when we move. We feel better when we share space. The Romans took this idea further. They loved order and scale. They built large public baths. They built roads. They also built gardens inside cities. Rich Romans had private gardens, but they also opened some spaces to the public. These spaces had paths, statues, and water. People walked after work. They talked. They rested. The city felt heavy. The garden felt light. Even then, people knew that stone and noise tired the mind. But after Rome fell, cities changed. During the medieval period, many towns became crowded and dirty. Space was tight. Walls closed in. Disease spread easily. Green space moved behind walls again. Monasteries held gardens. A monastery is a religious home where monks live and work. These gardens were quiet. They grew food and healing plants. Healing plants means plants used as medicine. The monks worked slowly. They prayed. They walked in silence. The garden was not for fun. It was for care and balance. Ordinary people rarely entered. Green space became something distant. Outside the city, forests still existed. But they often belonged to nobles. Kings claimed land for hunting. Hunting forests were large green areas. But people were punished if they entered. A peasant could lose a hand for hunting a deer. This is a quiet sadness in the story. Nature existed, but it was not shared. It belonged to power. People lived close to trees but could not enjoy them. As cities grew in Europe, pressure built. By the late medieval period, towns became louder and tighter. People lived close together. Streets smelled bad. Waste filled rivers. life felt hard. Small green spaces appeared again. Some cities allowed public walks along old walls or rivers. These walks were simple paths, no flowers, no benches, but people used them. They talked. They rested their eyes. The need was clear, even if the answer was small. Then came a major change, the Renaissance. This was a time of rebirth in art and ideas. People looked back to Greece and Rome. They valued balance and beauty again. Rich families built grand gardens in Italy and France. These gardens were designed carefully. Hedges formed shapes. Paths guided movement. Water flowed with purpose. At first these gardens stayed private, but something new grew inside cities. The idea that beauty should be seen. The idea that cities should care for the human spirit. In England, large parks appeared around royal homes. These were still private, but they were visible. People could see green space beyond fences. Over time, some paths opened. Slowly, the idea of shared land grew. In the 17th and 18th centuries, cities expanded fast. Factories appeared. Smoke filled the air. Workdays grew long. Life became harder for workers. This created a deep problem. Cities gave jobs, but they took health. People noticed children growing weak. Adults grew tired and angry. Doctors began to speak. They said air mattered, light mattered, movement mattered. This was not poetry. It was survival. Green space became a solution, not a luxury, a need. In the 19th century, public parks truly arrived. Cities like London and New York changed fast. Leaders and thinkers pushed for parks open to all. In London, Old Royal Land became public parks. Hyde Park opened its gates. Anyone could walk there. Rich and poor shared paths. This was new. This was powerful. In New York, the city grew upward and outward. Noise and dust filled the streets. Two men, Frederick Law Olmsted and Calvert Vaux, imagined something bold. They planned Central Park, a large green space in the heart of stone. Many people fought the idea. Land cost money. Why waste it on trees? But the park was built. When it opened, people came in waves. Families walked, workers rested, children played. The city breathed. This moment changed the world. Other cities followed. Parks became signs of care. Not perfect care, but real effort. They showed that a city could protect its people, not only use them. Parks became places of mixing. People from different lives shared benches and paths. They watched the same trees change with seasons. But the story does not stop here. Parks face problems too. Some neighbourhoods received beautiful parks. Others were ignored. Some parks pushed people out. Homes were destroyed to build them. This is another quiet sadness. Or even good ideas can hurt when power decides alone. Yet the need for shared green space never disappeared. As the modern world formed, parks spread across continents. Asia, Africa, and Latin America built their own versions. Some followed old styles. Some created new ones. Parks reflected culture. Some were quiet. Some were loud. Some held festivals. Some held silence. But they all shared one purpose: to give space back to people. Today, we walk through parks without knowing these stories. We scroll on phones under trees planted long ago. We sit where arguments once happened. We rest where people once fought for the right to enter. The grass feels simple, but it carries memory. And when we think about how much effort it took to create these spaces, the walk feels different. Slower, deeper, more human. And as cities continue to grow, this story still moves forward. New challenges appear: climate change, crowded streets, digital lives. Parks now carry new hopes. They cool cities, they clean air, they offer real silence in a loud world. They remind us that progress does not only move up, sometimes it grows out, and sometimes it grows quietly under our feet, waiting for us to notice. As public parks spread, they did not grow in silence. They grew inside busy, unequal cities. In the late 19th century, many people believed parks could fix social problems. They thought green space could calm anger. They thought trees could reduce crime. This idea carried hope, but also pressure. Parks were asked to heal wounds that came from work, poverty, and power. Sometimes they helped. or sometimes they could not. In industrial cities, life moved fast and hard. Factories worked day and night. Machines were loud. Smoke covered the sky. Workers lived close to their jobs. Homes were small. Streets were narrow. Children played near trash and traffic. In this world, a park felt like another planet. Grass under feet felt strange. Silence felt almost uncomfortable at first. People did not know how to rest. They had forgotten how. Early park designers noticed this. They planned wide paths, not narrow ones. They wanted slow walking. They added benches, not statues everywhere. Benches invited stopping. Stopping invited thinking. Trees were planted in groups, not lines. This made the space feel natural, even if it was planned. Water appeared again. Small lakes, curving streams. As water reflected light and sky, it softened everything. Frederick Law Olmsted believed parks were democratic. Democratic means shared by all, without special permission. He said parks were places where people could feel equal. A worker and a banker could sit on the same bench. Their clothes were different, but the shade was the same. This idea was quiet but strong. It did not shout. It simply existed. But cities are never simple. As parks grew, rules followed. Signs appeared. Do not walk on the grass. Do not sit here. Do not gather there. Some rules protected nature. Others protected comfort for certain people. Poor communities felt watched. Police patrolled paths. Parks that promised freedom sometimes felt controlled. This tension stayed. It still stays today. During this time, parks also became places of memory. Cities built monuments inside them, statues of leaders, stone arches, names carved deep. Parks held national stories, war victories, lost heroes. People walked past these symbols while walking dogs or eating lunch. Life and history mixed quietly. This mix felt natural. Memory did not stand alone. It lived among trees and birds. In the early 20th century, parks changed again. Cities expanded. Cars appeared. Roads cut through neighborhoods. Parks now had to fight for space. At the same time, new ideas formed. Playgrounds arrived. Swings, slides, open fields for games. Children were finally seen as park users, not problems. Laughter became part of park sound. This mattered. It said something about care. During hard times, parks became shelters. In the Great Depression, people slept on benches. Families gathered there for cheap joy. Music played. Public events filled space with life. Parks offered dignity when money disappeared. They did not solve hunger, but they offered relief. A place to sit without paying. A place to exist without explanation. Then came war. Many parks changed purpose. Some became training grounds. Some grew food. Victory gardens appeared. These were small gardens inside parks where people grew vegetables. Food shortages forced creativity. Parks became part of survival again. After war ended, people returned. They walked familiar paths with new pain inside them. Trees had grown. Paths stayed. This constancy mattered. It said life could continue. In the middle of the 20th century, cities faced new problems. Suburbs grew. People moved away from city centres. Parks in cities lost care. Budgets shrank. Crime increased. Some parks became places people avoided. Fear replaced calm. Broken benches stayed broken. Grass turned to dirt. This period was heavy. It showed that parks need care just like people do. I think this is a quiet truth we often forget. Nothing good stays good by accident. It stays good because someone protects it. Someone chooses it again and again. In the late 20th century, a slow return began. Communities spoke up. Neighbours cleaned parks together. Artists painted walls. Musicians played again. Cities realised parks mattered, not just for beauty but for health. Studies showed that trees lowered stress. Stress means mental pressure and worry. Green views helped healing. Hospitals asked for gardens. Schools asked for trees. Parks also became places of voice. People protested there. They gathered to demand change. Civil rights marches passed through green spaces. Parks held anger, hope, and courage. Grass felt strong under marching feet. Trees watched quietly. These moments added new layers to park meaning. Parks were not only calm places, They were living stages of society. As the world became more connected, ideas travelled fast. Cities learned from each other. Small parks appeared between buildings. Old rail lines turned into green paths. Roofs grew plants. This was not about beauty alone. It was about survival again. Cities grew hotter. Air grew dirtier. Parks cooled streets. Leaves caught dust. Shade saved energy. In many cities, people now fight to protect parks. Land prices rise. Developers want space. Trees stand in the way of profit. But voices grow stronger. People speak of mental health. They speak of children. They speak of future summers. Parks become symbols again. Symbols of choice. Today, when you enter a park, you enter many times at once. You step into ancient gardens of power. You step into medieval walls of control. You step into industrial dreams of healing. You step into modern struggles for space and voice. All of this lives quietly under your feet. And still, the park does not explain itself. It does not tell its history. It waits. It lets you arrive tired. It lets you leave lighter. This patience is part of its gift. And as we move closer to the present moment, this gift faces new questions. Questions about climate, about fairness, about who truly belongs. These questions shape the next chapter of the story, which is already being written every time someone opens a gate and steps inside. In our present moment, public parks carry a new kind of weight. Cities feel fuller than ever. Screens follow us everywhere. Work travels home in our pockets. Many people feel busy even when they stop moving. In this world, parks offer something rare. They offer empty space without demand. You can walk without purpose. You can sit without explaining why. This sounds simple, but it is not small. Modern parks look different from old ones. Some are large and famous, others are tiny, a few trees between buildings, a bench near a road. These small parks matter deeply. They appear where space is tight and life feels crowded. People use them in quiet ways. A short lunch break, a slow walk before sleep, a moment to feel air on the face. These moments heal in soft ways. Climate change adds another layer. Cities grow hotter. Summers feel longer. Concrete holds heat. Parks cool streets. Shade lowers temperature. Trees release water into the air. This water cools the body. It also calms the mind. Children find relief. Older people find safety. In this way, parks protect life, not only comfort. There is also a growing idea of fairness. People ask important questions. Who has parks near home? Who must travel far to find green space? These questions shape new designs. Cities now plan parks in poorer areas. They listen more. They invite voices. This work is slow. It is not perfect, but it shows care. Parks today also hold new sounds. Yoga in the morning, music in the evening, community gardens grow food again. Neighbours meet who never spoke before. A park becomes a bridge. It connects strangers without forcing them. You can join, or you can watch. Both are allowed. Dear listener, think about the next time you step into a park. Notice how your body responds before your thoughts do. Notice how your breath changes. Notice how time feels wider. This feeling did not arrive by chance. It came from long human effort, from mistakes, from hope, from people who believed space should be shared. I like to think that parks are quiet promises. They promise that cities can care, that progress can include rest. That beauty does not need a price. And maybe the most surprising thing is this. A park does not ask you to remember its history. But once you know it, every walk feels deeper, every bench feels kinder, every tree feels like an old friend standing there, patient as always, waiting for you to breathe.